Tonight on CTV News at 6, closed highways, stranded travelers.
It's 8:15 in the morning. We've been here now for about 13 hours.
A nasty spring storm sweeps across the province.
Highway 63 and 881 remain impassable due to dangerous storm conditions.
Changing what it takes to become a teacher in Alberta.
All will have to meet the rigorous high standards that are in place. Those high standards will not be diminished in any way, shape, or form.
And
when there is Crown interference with evidence, we can't trust the evidence anymore.
New details about why sex assault charges against a self-described spiritual leader were stayed.
CTV Edmonton, local breaking news with Jeff Hastings.
Good evening. About 300 vehicles are stranded along a major highway north of Edmonton. They're stuck in snowdrifts, ditches, and behind jackknifed semis after an intense snowstorm blew in last night. Jeremy Thompson has more on the situation and the response.
It's 8:15 in the morning. We've been here now for about 13 hours.
Deep snowdrifts surround a line of traffic stretching into the distance on Highway 63 south of Fort McMurray. Hundreds of people caught in a spring snowstorm that hit Thursday evening.
Just north of Wandering River around 5:36, the weather just turned completely for the worse. It was full whiteout conditions.
People like Judith Awascu are tired and frustrated by a lack of information on what they should do and when help will arrive.
Been making phone calls and sending text messages and trying to get a hold of somebody or anybody to give us some answers.
Most of the traffic is stuck near Mariana Lake, about 100 kilometers south of Fort McMurray. Highway 63 and Highway 881 were closed for most of the day. Drivers doing their best to stay warm, fed, and informed without running out of gas, aided by McMurray locals who jumped into action.
We put it on Facebook, that's where we're going to meet, and people start coming, truck after truck, truck after truck. And then at 2 a.m., we hit the road.
Mohammed Terrapin's group loaded up with pizzas from a local joint that kept its kitchen open and gas cans to help.
It took us 2 hours and a half to get to Mariana Lake. And when we got there, man, it was like a disaster.
While volunteers did their part, drivers were relying on Facebook posts from people like former radio host Mike Jones for updates.
There wasn't really a lot coming from official sources, so it was a lot of eyewitness reports, and people are sending me messages being like, hey, this is what's happening, can you get the word out, can you spread this out?
Highway 63 and 881 remain impassable due to dangerous storm conditions.
Around 1:20, roughly 20 hours after the first vehicles got stuck, the regional municipality of Wood Buffalo posted this video update from RCMP and issued a press release advising the public about a coordinated response that had been active in the background since early in the morning.
Outside the boundaries of the regional municipality of Wood Buffalo, but there are residents. So this morning when we got down and got kind of caught up to what's actually going on, we deployed, there's a fleet of tow trucks heading south.
Tow trucks, plows, and other heavy equipment on their way from both directions.
And Jeremy Thompson joins us now. Jerry, what's happening on those highways now?
Oh, yeah, Jeff, this is still an active situation up north there. RCMP say that Highway 63 will still be entirely closed overnight. That's north of Wandering River and south of the turnoff to Highway 881. And that Highway 881 is also still blocked in both directions. That's just north of Imperial Mills. Now, police say they'll be working with tow trucks and plows through the weekend to clear the highway and get people off of there and just reopen the highway as well. Now, this storm is still impacting roads in the Edmonton area as well. RCMP here just issued a tow ban this afternoon for parts of Highway 21 and Highway 16 east to Elk Island National Park. They say the conditions are just too unsafe for tow truck operators. And so if you do get stuck out there right now, no help will come until this weather clears. Jeff?
All right, Jeremy, thank you. That's Jeremy Thompson live for us tonight. Let's bring Josh in a little bit early for a look at weather. Josh, is there any relief on the way anytime soon?
Well, not tonight. I think through the course of the day tomorrow, we'll gradually start to see some improvements, especially in northeastern Alberta and here in Edmonton as far as the wind is concerned. Snowfall warning still in effect. There's 63, there's 881. There's still several hours of snow on the way. Blowing snow advisory for the areas in blue. It's really, we talked about this yesterday. It's amazing how variable the conditions are. You're in parts of Edmonton and it's nothing. It's just windy. And then all of a sudden you drive 5-10 kilometers down the road and all of a sudden you're in whiteout conditions. You can see still some pretty heavy snow here in the purples. And this is not moving west to east. This is all wrapping in. There's a low pressure system over Saskatchewan wrapping in from the northeast and moving back to the southwest. So here's what those highways were looking like this afternoon from 511. You can see Mariana Lake on Highway 63, near zero visibility, huge snow drifts. Conklin area, you got tons of snow. Further north, in Fort McMurray, it's a whole lot better. The problem is getting there, and as you just heard, you're not going to be able to do that through the rest of this evening. Back with the full forecast in a couple minutes.
All right, thank you, Josh. The town of Peace River has canceled its state of local emergency and flood alert, saying water flow in the Heart River has decreased. In a Facebook post, the town says there is still a risk of ice jams forming within the boundaries of the community. It says residents should continue to prepare for changing conditions. The province is expanding eligibility for teaching positions so it can hire more staff for the next year. CTV's Connor Hogg joins us now with more. And Connor, what qualifications do people need to have to apply?
Jeff, students who are in their final year of a Bachelor of Education, qualified internationally educated teachers, in addition to eligible tradespeople and skilled professionals in fields applicable to their expertise, will be able to apply this summer to enter Alberta classrooms in the fall. The province says it's creating new streamlined routes into the teaching profession. There will be different certificates for each of the 4 routes. The province says all of them require training before entering the classroom. School boards and designated teacher leaders will be responsible for hiring and placement. The education minister says that skilled professionals may also teach core courses. While that may happen more often in rural areas, he's not ruling it out in cities.
I would imagine, though, it would largely encompass CTS and other optional programming, but it's not to say that it couldn't cascade into core courses as well. All will have to meet the rigorous high standards that are in place. Those high standards will not be diminished in any way, shape, or form, and we'll continue to make sure that we create innovative solutions like this that can bring world-leading experts into the classroom by maintaining high standards at the same time.
The province says final year Bachelor of Education students and international teachers will be allowed to teach K-12 classes under the new certificates. They can apply for teaching certificates starting June 1st. Tradespeople and skilled professionals will be eligible to teach in grades 7 to 12 in areas that align with their expertise. They need to complete additional training before applying. Jeff?
All right, Connor, thank you. Connor Hogg live tonight. More details about what led to a stay of proceedings in a sexual assault case against the leader of a spiritual group and his wife have emerged. Their lawyers allege the Crown prosecutor in the case manipulated evidence from 2 expert witnesses. Amanda Anderson reports.
These defense lawyers were in court Friday to get clarification about what information about their client's sexual assault case can be publicly released. They represent John de Ruiter, a self-proclaimed spiritual leader of the College of Integrated Philosophy, also known as the Oasis Group, and his wife Leanne. They were charged in 2023 after allegations made by several female members of the group that John manipulated them into having sex. Charges that were stayed last week after senior Crown prosecutors reviewed the case.
When there is Crown interference with evidence, we can't trust the evidence anymore. And what was demonstrated in this case was that there was Crown interference with proposed witness evidence.
Defense counsel alleges the Crown prosecutor manipulated evidence of 2 expert witnesses they wanted to call during the trial. One that would testify the group was a cult, the second a forensic psychologist.
The Crown made significant edits and suggestions for edits to these expert reports. which in turn changed their opinions or made their opinions more damning against the de Ruiters.
The public should be asking that this doesn't happen in any other cases and be asking for reviews to ensure it hasn't happened in other cases.
The Alberta Crown Prosecution Service would not discuss specifics, saying only an internal review is underway to make sure this situation doesn't happen in the future.
But for the prosecutors intervening, this matter would have continued and could very well have resulted in a miscarriage of justice against our clients.
The defense intends to file complaints with the Law Society and College of Alberta Psychologists.
I don't relish the thought of complaining to the Law Society of Alberta, but that's a duty we have to report conduct that is that we think is inappropriate.
He says an application to recover court costs will also be filed. Amanda Anderson, CTV News, Edmonton.
Edmonton police are looking for a person who was robbed. Police say it happened March 25th at McEwen LRT station. They say the suspect used a hatchet to cut off the victim's backpack, then left on a train. Police say they've already identified the suspect. They're now hoping the person robbed comes forward to speak with investigators. They would also like to make sure the victim was not injured. An investigation is underway to determine the cause of a West End apartment fire.
From across the street here, you could really feel the heat. It's kind of scary. Had ashes blowing in my face.
Firefighters first responded near 162nd Street near Stony Plain Road around 5:30 yesterday afternoon. They say flames from a balcony spread to the attic and burned through the roof. While battling the flames in stiff wind, it took firefighters 2 hours to bring the fire under control. No injuries have been reported. No neighboring buildings are damaged. The city's emergency support response team is now helping people who've been displaced. Some major road closures are coming to the West End for work on the Valley Line West LRT project. Starting next week, there will be lane closures at 178th Street and 87th Avenue. 1 week later, lane restrictions begin at 170th Street and 87th Avenue. Lane reductions will continue in stages throughout the construction season, with work at both intersections continuing until the end of the year. Other parts of 87th Ave will also see lane reductions for the rest of the year. The city says while the closures are disruptive, this should be the last major road construction year for the project.
In terms of road and sidewalk construction, we're pretty much going to be done this year, which we're pretty happy for. At least I hope the commuters will be happy because they won't see any of the traffic restrictions like they've had in the last 4 or 5 years.
You can sign up for construction notices from Marigold Infrastructure Partners to stay informed about the work. Find out more in the story at ctvnewsedmonton.ca. The Edmonton Oilers will try to recapture the series lead in their first-round matchup against the Ducks tonight. The Oilers and Ducks are tied at a game apiece. The opening round series shifts to Anaheim for games 3 and 4. Tonight will be the first playoff game in Anaheim in almost a decade. The players are expecting a very loud crowd.
I know it'll be rocking in here, and I mean, you can use some of that energy in the building, whether it's yours or not, and play off that.
It's great. I mean, ultimately, if they're cheering for you or against you, it's still noise, right? So that's the beauty of playoffs. Still the same game with the same rules in place and whatnot, but it's always good entertainment for their fans, and these are, obviously easy ones for us players to get up to as well.
Thousands of fans will be watching the game on the Jumbotron at Rogers Place tonight. The watch party is nearly sold out. Fan Park will be open, but the moss pit is closed because of the wind. Edmonton Opera is hoping to hit a high note with Oilers fans with its latest video. This one is a reimagining of the song Maybe This Time from the musical Cabaret. It's in response to back-to-back Stanley Cup losses. Norman Issa brings us the story.
Maybe this time we'll be lucky. From the office to a street hockey game. For the 6th time. The Edmonton Opera is voicing its support for the Edmonton Oilers.
There's so many differences that we each have, but what do we all unite around? We can unite around something like the Oilers.
Joel Ivany is the artistic director with Edmonton Opera. He says hockey and opera have more similarities than most think.
Opera is, to me, the highest definition of kind of art and theater, and that's what you're seeing on the ice. Kind of every one of these playoff games is drama. It feels kind of like life or death, which is kind of what opera can be.
This year's video shows some of its opera singers in everyday roles. The scenes from the street hockey game features Ivany's son, Sammy.
I've been performing and singing my entire life.
The 12-year-old says it was a full day of shooting, starting in the studio and then ending with his scene.
I gained my confidence each time I sang it.
I didn't pressure him too much into it, but it's something he's a passionate sports fan himself.
We will be playing La Bamba, 16 wins with La Bamba.
2 years ago, Edmonton Opera released this video, which included Oilers anthem singer Robert Clark. Ivany says it was met with pushback from some superstitious Oilers fans who believed singing about winning would jinx the team.
We're very sensitive to that as well, but also just we love the city and we don't want to miss a part of cheering for this team.
Ivany hopes to make these videos a postseason tradition. He says they will always be singing the praises of the orange and blue.
We love our city, we love our Oilers, so go Oilers, go.
Nair Manisa, CTV News, Edmonton.
WP Wagner students have raised nearly $100,000 for the Ben Stelter Foundation in this year's Wagathon. Students biked for 24 hours raising money for the foundation. Their efforts this year are to support children and their families fighting pediatric cancers. Nearly 400 students took part in the overnight event.
And they have been doing this for months, out fundraising on evenings and weekends, and I'm so unbelievably proud.
Students have raised about $1 million in the last 15 years of the Wagathon. You can still donate at benstelterfoundation.com. Wintry weather is causing major disruptions to a soccer tournament in the Edmonton area. The Edmonton Minor Soccer Association Champions League tournament includes about 200 teams. It's supposed to be outdoors in Atchison. All those games have been moved inside or delayed. Organizers say teams that don't play will receive a refund. Well, in Edmonton, we're used to traffic disruptions caused by weather, perhaps construction, but some downtown drivers were still caught off guard by this one. Last night, a porta potty could be seen in the area of 103rd Street and 103rd Avenue, moving through traffic. It appears to have been dislodged by the wind and blown into the road. The turbulent toilet was blown through traffic, and it comes to a stop near the side of the street. I hope, Josh, there's no one in there.
I don't. That thing wouldn't be sliding like that if someone was in there.
The wind was pretty strong.
Yeah, gusts to about 70 kilometers per hour, and we're still dealing with gusts in the 50 to 70 kilometer per hour range in the Edmonton area right now. Temperatures hit 1 for a daytime high earlier today. We're at 0 downtown. There you go, 30 gusting to 56 kilometers per hour. It's even stronger south and northwest of the city. 13 is the average daytime high. Today's high of 1 is on par with the average low for this time of year. We're going to get 2 more chilly days, tomorrow and Sunday. Things start to warm up a little bit early next week. We're not back to double digits, though, it looks like, until Tuesday or Wednesday. As we mentioned earlier in the newscast, there is still some heavy snow set to fall over the next few hours in northeastern Alberta. Here in Edmonton, it's kind of been off and on, pockets of flurries. Every now and then you get this little blast that goes through, then it's just cloudy and windy, and then another little pocket blasts through. That'll be the case for the next 24 hours. Not steady, consistent snow, but occasional flurries. Look at your gusts to about 50 kilometers per hour still at 9, 10 o'clock tonight. Overnight, though, those gusts drop to about 30 kilometers per hour, and the wind gradually eases through the day tomorrow. About 15 to 20 kilometer per hour wind with gusts in the 30 kilometer per hour range midday and afternoon. I think by supper time, we should start to lose those gusts. Temperatures are going to be around 0 for a daytime high. Sunday, cloudy, less wind, but still cool. We'll take a full look at your weekend forecast and the warm-up for next week in just a few minutes.
Thank you, Josh. Stay with us. A potential breakthrough in the fight against Parkinson's.
The 40% extension, if you would give this one to a human being, would be tremendous.
University of Alberta researchers leading the charge in the development of a vaccine. Also ahead.
And they said it was amazing. We can do it. I think the kids of Alberta deserve it.
Alberta doctors calling for wider RSV vaccine coverage to help keep children out of the hospital.
The CTV drone powered by Century Casino. 3 great locations: Edmonton, St. Albert, and Century Mile. Programming brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law.
Researchers at the University of Alberta believe they're making promising progress in the battle against Parkinson's disease. Curtis Goodrum has more on the research and how it could change lives.
While Neil Merkel works hard at the gym, a team at the U of A is also working hard, fighting Parkinson's disease.
We've been interested in the misfolded proteins that are thought to cause Parkinson's disease.
Neil noticed a change in 2022.
A tremor in my right hand.
That tremble was an early sign of Parkinson's. He was only 47.
It hits you like a ton of bricks. It's pretty surreal. Like I didn't believe it at first. My first thoughts were I have most of my life ahead of me.
Neil is far from alone. On average, 38 people are diagnosed with Parkinson's every day in Canada.
This is much more prevalent than we realize.
The search for a cure is widespread. The U of A team is now sharing a promising development, a vaccine they say slows the progression of Parkinson's in mice by 40%.
We have the special trick in there, meaning using structural biology in there, which is absolutely necessary for the success of our vaccine.
While the vaccine is still in the testing phase, it has shown potential to help those with early symptoms.
The 40% extension, if you would give this one to a human being, would be tremendous.
So Neil is doing the best thing, keeping his body active, the best medicine available.
We want people to have hope, but also realistic about, what they've got to do for their own health.
Neil is pulling every moment he can from life.
I've learned that regardless of what the disease causes me, I'm going to continue my workouts, I'm going to continue living life, doing the traveling.
Curtis Goodrum, CTV News, Edmonton.
The Alberta Medical Association is calling on the province to provide universal coverage of the preventative RSV shot for babies. The respiratory virus led to 525 hospitalizations of Alberta children under the age of 1 this respiratory illness season. 60 of those babies were in the ICU. No deaths were reported this season. Alberta currently only offers a preventative medication to high-risk infants. Canada's National Advisory Committee on Immunization also recommends free RSV immunization for all infants during their first season. The head of AMA's pediatrics section says colleagues in the United States who have universal coverage of this medication are seeing far fewer kids going to hospital.
And they went from dozens to hundreds of kids with RSV every year to single digits that they were seeing in their clinic. And they said it was amazing. We can do it. I think the kids of Alberta deserve it, and that we join the rest of Canada in providing this particular medication to our kids.
Most provinces already offer universal RSV immunization for infants. The Alberta government says it's asked the Institute of Health Economics for a cost-effectiveness and feasibility analysis to guide RSV prevention for future seasons. Coming up, a social media sensation coming to the defense of a historic instrument.
This is the amazing 1978 Cassavant memorial organ, and really ridiculously, they're about to take it out.
Well, she says her sold-out show in our city is proof the iconic organ is worth saving.
Windy, a few more flurries tonight. The wind should die down tomorrow, but we'll stay cloudy and cool right through to the back end of the weekend. Take a look at the warming trend for next week after the break.
Programming brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law.
An historic organ at the University of Alberta is about to be played one last time. The Cassavant organ in Convocation Hall is being removed as part of renovations. Supporters are calling on the university to reverse its decision. That includes a world-famous organist who posted about it to millions of followers. Nerman Issa reports.
British organist Anna Lapwood gets ready to play a sold-out show at the Winsphere Centre this weekend.
I still haven't got over the fact that that is my life at the moment. I am still pinching myself regularly and feel so lucky.
The 30-year-old credits social media for her growing audience. She has 3 million followers on Instagram and TikTok.
it's a bit more mysterious. And so I think it means that it's even better on social media to be able to bring people up close and say, okay, you've never really heard how this instrument works. Let me show you.
Lapwood is now using her social media for an Edmonton cause.
This is the amazing 1978 Cassavant memorial organ, and really ridiculously, they're about to take it out.
She posted this video about the Cassavant organ being removed from the University of Alberta's Convocation Hall. The organ was installed in 1978 and dedicated as a war memorial. Convocation Hall is undergoing renovations. Part of the plan is removing the organ for accessible and additional seating. Tammy Jo Mortensen is a local organist fighting to keep it in place.
It would be very, very hard to dismantle this instrument and put it someplace else. So ideally, it should stay right here. It's acoustically a wonderful hall. The organ speaks really well into the hall.
In a statement to CTV News, the university says it's looking to move the organ safely and possibly rehome it.
If you remove an organ from its room, it's like removing its heart almost, and trying to find a new home for an instrument of that size, I think it would be extremely hard, and I think the likelihood is it would probably end up not finding a home.
The hall's renovations are slated to begin in May. Nair Misa, CTV News, Edmonton.
All right. I was planning to have a productive weekend outside in the yard.
No,
this weather.
No, you weren't.
Yes, I was.
I have people who have said they were planning on golfing this weekend as well. I don't know if that's going to happen.
Are you going to golf this weekend?
Yeah, the simulators are still open. There's a look outside. River Valley Sky Camps brought to you by Action Furnace. Fixed rider, it's free. Cloudy and 0 in Edmonton right now with gusts still up in the 50 to 60 kilometer per hour range in the area. -3 for a high in Fort McMurray today. Look, Grand Prairie was 10 degrees warmer at 7. Should be around 7 degrees again tomorrow in Grand Prairie, and around -2 or -3 in Fort McMurray. Here in Edmonton, pretty similar. 0, maybe -1 for a daytime high tomorrow. Snowfall warning remains in effect for areas south of Fort McMurray. You saw the just incredible problems that they're having with all the snow and the wind on highways 63 and 881. We also had some blowing snow along Highway 16, significantly reduced visibility in that area, in that blue zone, which does not include the city of Edmonton, but areas just east of the city and to the south of the city. Blowing snow at times reducing visibility to near 0. All of this snow, as we said, is dropping from north to south. And you can see there's a bit of a break right now, but there are some more pockets of snow just off to the north of the city. So off and on through the rest of tonight and at least the first half of the day tomorrow, you're going to see some more snow occasionally drift through on the back edge of this low, which really just doesn't want to move all that much. It's kind of stuck in place we were talking about yesterday. So here's tonight, gusty still, and still some flurries occasionally. There's tomorrow morning. You start to see a bit of a break here in east central Alberta as this low backs up a little bit. I think by tomorrow afternoon, most of the flurries are going to be from Edmonton back to the west. And there actually could be some pretty significant snow, maybe 5+ centimeters of snow in through parts of the foothills and the mountain parks Saturday night. Most of the province looking at just mostly cloudy skies on Sunday, although there'll be a couple spots, maybe even here in the Edmonton area, where you see a few scattered flurries. I'm taking it out of the forecast for Sunday, though. It looks like if we get anything at all, it's very insignificant. -3 in Fort McMurray right now. It's 7 in Grand Prairie, -1 in Red Deer, and -6 in Lloydminster. You've had gusts in this pink zone here in the 50 to 70 kilometer per hour range. Watch how that shrinks a little bit through this evening. And then tomorrow, this is tomorrow morning, still gusting, 20 to 30 kilometers per hour. So it's not completely calm, but a lot better than it was today. And by tomorrow evening, at least here in the Edmonton area, gusts should be gone. So occasional flurries, breezy tomorrow, and -1 for a high. Back to about 2 or 3 degrees, mostly cloudy on Sunday, and then 5 and partly cloudy on Monday, with temperatures back into double digits by Tuesday, Wednesday. The absolute final deadline in the Mighty Millions Lottery is midnight, May 1st. You have a week to get your tickets. If you don't already have them, you could win the $2.5 million grand prize package, which includes the show home plus $100,000 cash. Go to mightymillionslottery.com. Again, cool through the weekend, still chilly on Monday. Nice little warm up here, though, middle to the end of next week. And it actually looks like we'll see a good amount of sunshine to go along with those warmer temperatures Tuesday through Saturday, Sunday of next week.
Thank you, Josh. Still ahead, a West Coast gas pipeline expansion approved.
There's a lot of economic uncertainty in the world, and Canada's economy needs these kinds of jobs.
Feds are promoting the approval, while critics say major projects are still taking too long to get off the ground. Also ahead, intense destructive weather rips through parts of the U.S. A look at the aftermath.
Programming brought to you by Century Casino. 3 great locations: Edmonton, St. Albert, and Century Mile.
Talks appear to be about to resume between the U.S. and Iran.
The president has decided to dispatch Special Envoy Witkoff and Jared Kushner back to Islamabad. The Iranians want to talk. They want to talk in person, and so the president is, as I've said many, many times to all of you, always willing to give diplomacy a chance.
U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner are expected to hold direct talks with Iranian officials, including the foreign minister, while in Islamabad. The U.S. and Iran plan to return to the table even as both countries assert control over the Strait of Hormuz. The standoff has effectively choked off nearly all exports through the key shipping route. The CEO of OpenAI has issued an apology to the community of Tumbler Ridge. The company did not alert police about concerning use of ChatGPT by a mass shooter. Sam Altman wrote, "I am deeply sorry that we did not alert law enforcement to the account that was banned in June. In February, an 18-year-old opened fire at the Tumbler Ridge Secondary School, killing 8 people, including 6 school children. OpenAI was criticized following the shooting after revelations the shooter's account was flagged for violating policies and authorities were never informed." The federal government has approved a $4 billion expansion of Enbridge's West Coast pipeline in BC. Called the Sunrise Expansion, it's intended to increase capacity through the existing natural gas pipeline system. The company says the project is shovel-ready, and the Liberals are touting it as another big project approval. CTV's Rachel Aiello reports.
Today, Enbridge's $4 billion BC natural gas pipeline expansion got the green light, adding capacity and fortifying a West Coast liquefied natural gas project.
This expansion ensures British Columbia has enough gas to supply an LNG export facility like Woodfibre LNG, which will be the first net zero LNG export facility in the world.
The project will add approximately 140 kilometers of new pipeline by constructing 11 pipeline looping segments parallel to the existing line.
Well, it's pretty small, relatively speaking. So 300 million cubic feet a day is, in the context of what we do in Western Canada, is probably 16 or 18 billion cubic feet a day of gas production right now.
Construction will begin this summer, and the government says the expansion is set to add more than $3 billion to Canada's GDP, generate more than $700 million in tax revenue, and create 2,500 jobs, including for local Indigenous communities.
I think this comes at an important time. There's a lot of economic uncertainty in the world, and Canada's economy needs these kinds of jobs.
In a statement, Enbridge's CEO said, "We're excited about the role this project will play in increasing economic prosperity and energy security." But critics say this expansion took far too long to approve, given the Liberals' promise of record speed, and that in the future, major projects need to start moving way faster.
There have been lots of announcements, lots of press releases, lots of news coverage about bureaucratic busy work, but not a lot of results.
Canada's energy regulator greenlit the project with 47 binding conditions related to environmental protection, safety, and Indigenous engagement. It's expected to be operational by 2028. Rachel Aiello, CTV News, Ottawa.
The federal New Democrats are expected to lose another member. It would leave them with only 5 seats in Parliament. Sources told Nouveau Info Quebec NDP MP Alexandre Boulris will resign from Parliament and quit the party so he can run provincially for Quebec Solidaire. This would also leave the NDP with no MPs from Quebec. A U.S. Special Forces soldier involved in the capture of Nicolas Maduro in Venezuela has been arrested. He's accused of betting on the timing of the top-secret raid before it happened for a profit of $400,000. According to an indictment, the soldier opened an account in late December on Polymarket. The popular cryptocurrency-based prediction market allows users to place bets on a wide variety of scenarios. The soldier allegedly wagered $32,000 that Maduro would be out by January. Prosecutors allege he was involved in the planning and execution of the operation and had access to classified information before placing the bet. He's facing charges including stealing and misusing confidential government information, theft, and fraud. Fierce and destructive weather tore through parts of the U.S. yesterday, including tornadoes captured on camera in Oklahoma.
Dude, look at this! Look at this!
More than a dozen tornadoes were reported in multiple states. At least 10 people were hurt. First responders say they had to pull several people from homes, and search and rescue efforts are ongoing. The Red Cross is mobilizing to help residents recover.
There are homes completely gone. Oh my gosh.
Houses and entire neighborhoods were completely flattened. The full extent of the destruction is still being assessed. Stay with us. Up next, the domino effect of the jet fuel crisis.
I definitely will not make this mistake again. I will make sure I am double and triple covered.
How travelers can protect themselves and their wallets as airlines cancel thousands of flights. Also next, why Ticketmaster is banning the resale of tickets above their original price in one province.
Programming brought to you by Green Tree Outdoor Living, where your dream yard becomes a reality.
Wake up with us at CTV Your Morning Edmonton for the latest local news, up-to-the-minute weather, traffic updates, and lifestyle entertainment. There's no brighter way to start your day. CTV Your Morning Edmonton, weekdays 6 to 9. Watch live on Crave.
Taking a look at today's markets, the Canadian dollar traded for 73 cents U.S. Oil was down by $1.45, closing the day around $94 a barrel. Gold gained nearly $17 on the day. The TSX lost 8 points. The Dow Jones down 79. As airlines cancel flights in response to the jet fuel crisis, many travelers are worried about losing money and wondering if insurance will protect them. CTV's Jean-Vier Bushman has more.
Stephanie Hallett-Lamoureux booked a dream Baltic family cruise 2 years ago. Now she worries the jet fuel crisis will scrub her flight plans.
I know that Air Canada will give us our money back, but the cruise, no, they won't.
Airlines are responsible for the flights, but not bus tours, cruises, and some travel insurance policies cover those costs, says expert Martin Firestone.
They don't make their cruise, they don't get to their Airbnb rental, they make a claim, they submit the receipts, they get reimbursed. That's now not going to be the way it's going to go.
The jet fuel crisis is now a known cause, and so policies purchased from now on, says Firestone, may not cover events linked to that reason.
You have to be wise enough to figure out your schedule and itineraries to give yourself the days you're going to need if it doesn't leave on the day it was supposed to.
Those who booked prior to the unprecedented crisis could also face roadblocks. Most policies have a war exclusion that voids insurance claims linked to conflicts, and insurers could potentially consider the jet fuel crisis a related cost of the war in the Middle East.
Call the insurer. The policy wording, sometimes it's hard to understand.
CA travel insurance expert Nadia Goyette says checking what your private, group, or credit card insurance covers is key. They may all be very different.
You saved up to pay for that trip from a long time. You don't want to have that all ruined.
Lamoureux says all she can do now is hope the flight will take off.
I definitely will not make this mistake again. I will make sure I am double and triple covered.
Experts say it's crucial that travelers understand what their policies cover, but also that they seek advice when necessary and that they pack their patience when they head out on trips now. Geneviève Beauchemin, CTV News, Montreal.
Ticketmaster is banning the resale of tickets above their original sale price in Ontario. A spokesperson confirmed the move is in response to new legislation in that province, which includes a cap on resale ticket prices. Ticketmaster says it has delisted resale tickets on its platform, and sellers will be able to relist them next week in compliance with the new law. Alberta Service Minister Dale Nally says his office is watching what's happening in Ontario to see how similar rules could work here. Red Deer Polytechnic is expanding its healthcare aid program. It will allow students to take the one-year program in Camrose at the U of A Augustana campus. 16 students will be able to begin their studies in Camrose next January using training space at the Bethany Group's Heritage Building. The program will be offered in Camrose every 2 years. Healthcare aides provide personal care and support for the elderly, ill, and people with disabilities. Camrose is now the 8th Alberta community to offer the Red Deer Polytechnic Healthcare Aid Program. It aims to ease staffing issues in rural areas. A race car driver from Red Deer is excelling on the world stage. Parker Thompson is a rookie on the 2026 FIA World Endurance Racing Championship circuit. He won in his first race last weekend in Italy. Thompson teamed up with 2 other drivers to pick up the win during a 6-hour-long race. He drove his BMW during the 2-hour leg of the event for his winning team.
Most drivers spend the majority of their careers trying to win a race like that. So the fact that we just walked in and did it right off the bat it's pretty incredible.
Thompson will stay in Italy for a race on a different circuit before resuming the FIA Endurance Series in Belgium next month. Up next, an extravaganza for Edmonton book lovers.
When people support indie bookstores, they nourish an entire ecosystem.
An opportunity for readers to support their favorite local shops all weekend.
Stay with us. We've got another full night of great shows for you tonight on CTV.
People can show their support for local bookshops this weekend at the Indie Bookstore Day Extravaganza. Participants can pick up a passport at one of 16 participating independent bookshops. Visiting each store will earn a passport stamp and a chance to win prizes. Purchasing an item at a bookstore is not required, but encouraged. One of the extravaganza organizers says this is a celebration of the role these shops have in their communities.
When people support indie bookstores, they nourish an entire ecosystem. They support indie publishers and curated collections by booksellers who love to read. They're boosting the love of books and reading, and they're keeping resources and dollars local in their communities and their economies.
For those who don't drive, Edmonton Transit is offering a free shuttle service to the shops. Everything starts tomorrow on Indie Bookstore Day. Windy conditions forced a change of plans down at the Calgary Expo. Instead of the usual parade, organizers pivoted to a dance party ahead of the opening ceremony. Celebrities and fans in costumes braved the cold, bringing together people who traveled from all over to be here. Leading the way and dancing along, Calgary Mayor Jeremy Farkas. Dressed as Mario with a golden wrench and water pipe, he is embracing the Expo.
It's great to be able to spend the weekend with a bunch of nerds like me. I'm going to be checking out the anime section. I'm a big fan of Star Wars, going to be chatting with some of the vendors.
About 100,000 fans expected to come through the Expo, which runs until Sunday night.
Is that a play on the broken water lines?
I don't know.
The Mario in the pipe, the plumber, that is. Well done, Jeremy Farkas.
I'm glad you like it.
Well played. All right, take a look at the radar map. Got some snow south of the city and north of the city and east of the city. In the city, most areas just windy right now. But we will see some flurries blowing through here before this evening is done. We'll see a few more flurries tomorrow, especially through the first half of the day. Wind will gradually start to back off, but still for most of tomorrow, gusts up around 30 kilometers per hour, which is way down from today. around 0 for a high tomorrow. A couple of degrees above 0 with mostly cloudy skies on Sunday, and then the slow warm-up begins. Although temperatures by Wednesday should be back to around average, somewhere in the mid-teens for daytime highs.
Sounds great. Thank you, Josh, and thank you very much for sharing your time with us. For news anytime, check out our website, ctvnewsedmonton.ca. Have a great weekend, everyone.
See you.